Welcome back. House Speaker Mike Johnson unveiled a proposal to send wartime aid to Israel and Ukraine, as well as Taiwan, in separate standalone bills. Johnson outlined the plan to reporters.
There are precipitating events around the globe that we're all watching very carefully, and we know that the world is watching us to see how we react. We have terrorists and tyrants and terrible leaders around the world like Putin and Xi and in Iran, and they're watching to see if America will stand up for its allies and in our own interest around the globe, and we will. What we'll do is bring to the House floor independent measures. We won't be voting on the Senate supplemental in its current form, but we will vote on each of these measures separately in 4 different pieces. We will vote on the Israel aid, on the aid to Ukraine, on the aid to the Indo-Pacific, and then another measure that has our national security priorities included, and that has some of the things with regard to the loan lease option and the Repo Act and some other sanctions on Iran and other measures that we've been talking about here for quite some time.
Can you believe anyone would be talking in that hushed, condescending voice to the national media? Well, it's probably better than he treats the conference, the Republican conference, so there is that. By passing these as standalone bills, Johnson gives away all leverage that Republicans have. The House is the only Republican-controlled body in the entire federal government. And instead of demanding border security and other America First priorities in exchange for the aid as promised, Johnson immediately caves to the puppet president. What a shameful disappointment he is. And today, Congressman Thomas Massie announced he will join Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene in co-sponsoring the motion to vacate Speaker Johnson. His days appear certainly numbered. Over in the Senate, Democrats quashed the Republican effort to force an immediate vote on a $14 billion aid package to Israel, which was passed in the House. That bill includes funds to replenish Israel's missile defense systems, and they were able to intercept 99% of Iran's drone attacks over the weekend. But Joe Biden apparently not interested in helping Israel without helping Ukraine. The White House has made it clear that puppet Joe Biden, as cognitively impaired and politically compromised as he is, will not support an aid package only for Israel. So not only are the Marxist Dems failing to provide Israel with aid, Joe Biden is also cautioning Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on taking further military action. Meanwhile, we're learning that Biden coordinated with the Iranians to launch this attack. According to a report in the Jerusalem Post, the Biden administration told officials in Tehran, and by the way, in other reports using Turkey as a middleman, that any action it took had to be within certain limits, end quote. In other words, the Biden administration directed the Iranians on what was an appropriate level of attack. Like his Marxist-Dem predecessor, Barack Obama, Joe Biden is siding with the radical terrorist regime over Israel, our ally. And joining us now to talk about all of this and more, Iranian-American human rights activist Annie Cyrus. She was born under Islam, and after 15 years of imprisonment and torture and depression, she escaped. And we thank her for doing so. And she joins us tonight. Annie, great to see you. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Lou. It's a pleasure to be here.
Over 300 missiles, guided missiles and ballistic and rockets fired into Israel, 99% intercepted. And this president, Joe Biden, wants Benjamin Netanyahu to simply sit on his, not respond to that extraordinary attack. Your thoughts?
Well, let me start from here. Joe Biden has, from day one of taking office, Joe Biden has sided with Islamists. From day one, he sided with Islamists. So there is no surprise that he's also siding with IRGC or Islamic Republic of Iran today. By words, he has always been supporting Israel. by action, he has always made sure to fund. We start from Taliban, the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars in military equipment and technology for Taliban, where it all ended up in hands of Islamic Republic of Iran's regime because they purchased those from Taliban. From that day to this day, there is no denying that Biden is on the side of Islam. And my personal opinion is it's because Islam is what can help Biden destroy America. I think this was a pre-planned, as you mentioned, pre-planned coordination between Biden regime and the mullahs to bait Israel into a military response, because Iran has said they're done. As of today, they're done. But if Israel does retaliate, and if America back Israel in any shape or form, the next attack will be here in the United States of America. They have plenty sleeper cells here to just make a call, and we might witness even a bigger attack like September 11 taking place here in America. It is election year, a chaos, internal war, Middle Eastern war. It could all help Biden possibly take power, hold on to the power, and finish the mission, destroy America.
Yeah. I wonder at this point if there is any way in the world the president of this country right now, an illegitimate president in my judgment, but he passes for a commander in chief, but so does Lloyd Austin pose as a Secretary of Defense. So we can get pretty far down the chain of command in the military before we find real warriors. I'm just curious right now as to what we are doing to make certain that this country is secure, because there's no obvious sign. The border is wide open. We are bringing nationals from every quarter of the earth, it seems, whether they come from destabilized regions like the Middle East, Africa, South America, parts of Asia. I mean, we're bringing them all in because this president has incentivized them to come here, and they're working with the Mexican drug cartels. We have a disastrous national security profile at this very moment, don't we?
We absolutely do. And it is absolutely a disaster, but then it gets more dangerous because the concentration and focus of this regime is towards those who care for America, those who love America. Let's look at it. Grandma, J6, praying, simply targeted, possibly facing prison time. Pro-Palestinian protesters in Michigan chanting death to America, not a single visit from FBI or even local police department. It's not only they're handing our country into possibly sex traffickers, cartel, Islamist jihadists, but also actively all of these alphabet soup corrupt departments are taking us out one by one. They're targeting anyone who's willing to stand up, tell the truth, and fight for America. And unfortunately, Lou, as you know, we're not many. After January 6th, they made sure to make an example out of them to where people are afraid. I have a job I need to protect. I have children. I can't go to prison. I need to be in good terms with my wife. All of those little fear methods are to where we're keeping more and more quiet, and they're gaining more momentum. So it's pretty, I wouldn't say it's scary, because I prefer not to use the word scared, but it is a concerning time. And if our fellow Americans don't do the right thing and make sure we have President Trump back in office, we will not survive another 4 years of this. We won't.
Yeah. To your point about fear, I truly believe that no one should ever live in fear, and always should praise the Lord. And America needs to remember those words. It's truly a time for confidence in our country, and understand that we've been through tough times before. Never tough times quite to this extent, at least domestically, in terms of national security threats. This is unprecedented. I want to ask you as we close up here, give me a sense of how long you think it will take for Iran to develop a nuclear weapon, according to your sources, and how many more of these guided missiles and ballistic missiles does Iran have at its disposal? And I'm not talking about the proxies. We know Hezbollah has thousands of anti-tank missiles. I'm talking about Iran in its own arsenal.
Absolutely. So as far as the nuclear weapon, talking about one, I strongly believe they already have that. And I want to just say this, not undermining the danger Israel and Israeli people are facing, but the one nuclear weapon they have ready, it's not for Israel. It has been built and established for New York, aka America, as they call America, New York. They are in process of developing more, and this is literally mentioned by their own people watching their own news. They have also sent a new batch of drones to Lebanon for Hezbollah, and they are in process of sending another shipment to Hamas in Gaza border. As far as their own, between giving so much to Russia and Lebanon and Hamas, I would say they probably have another 2 or 3 rounds of attacking Israel like they did on Saturday. Again, these are information they have put out themselves. However, I don't think they're going to make a move until Netanyahu and Israeli government make a decision on how to respond to what they've done. And I personally have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of Iranian people on social media asking for Netanyahu to come in and rescue them. People of Iran are ready for a war that would possibly set them free. At this point, they're at a point of give me freedom or give me death.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Annie. We appreciate it so much. Annie Cyrus, I look forward to our next conversation, and let's hope that it's a more positive turn to it all. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lou.